Ladies and gentlemen, retirees across the United States are waking up today, May 5th, 2026, to something that feels small on the surface but could have very real consequences for millions of households. A delay, a shift, and a growing sense that something bigger is happening behind the scenes. Because right now, Social Security, the lifeline for over 70 million Americans, is going through a moment that deserves your full attention. If you depend on these checks, or plan to in the future, what's happening today could affect you more than you think. Let's talk about what's really going on. This month, something unusual has happened with Social Security payments. Many retirees are noticing that their checks aren't arriving when they expected, and naturally that's causing concern. But here's the truth. This is not a system failure. It's not a permanent cut. And it's not a mistake. It's a calendar shift. Because of how the dates fall in May 2026, the first round of Social Security payments doesn't begin until May 13th. That creates a longer than usual gap between April's payment and May's payment. For some people, that gap stretches beyond 30 days. Now, if you have savings or flexibility, that might not sound like a big deal. But for millions of retirees living on fixed incomes, this creates a very real financial squeeze. Bills don't wait, rent doesn't pause, groceries don't get cheaper, and medical needs don't disappear. So when income is delayed, even temporarily, it exposes just how tight things already are for so many people. And that's the deeper issue here. This situation is revealing something important. Many retirees are operating with almost no financial cushion. Even a simple timing shift is enough to create stress, anxiety, and in some cases, real hardship. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Because while this delay is technical, what's happening politically right now is much bigger. Over the past few days, President Donald Trump has been actively pushing new policies and proposals that directly affect Social Security, retirees, and the future of the system. One of the biggest talking points right now is his push to reduce or even eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits. At first glance, that sounds like a major win. Imagine receiving your full Social Security check without federal taxes taking a portion of it. That could mean hundreds, even thousands of extra dollars per year for some retirees. Trump has also promoted a new tax deduction, up to $6,000, aimed at helping seniors keep more of their income. But here's where things get complicated. Not every retiree will benefit equally. Some may see significant savings, while others may see only a small change or none at all, depending on their income level. And critics are already pointing out that while this sounds promising, it doesn't address the deeper financial challenges facing the Social Security system itself. In other words, it may provide relief in the short term, but it doesn't solve the long-term problem. At the same time, another major development has taken place. A new executive order has been signed to expand access to retirement savings accounts across the country. This program is designed to reach tens of millions of workers who currently don't have access to employer-sponsored retirement plans. The idea is simple. Give more Americans the ability to save for their future, with some government support to encourage participation. In fact, the plan includes a federal matching contribution, up to $1,000 per year, for eligible low-income workers. On paper, this sounds like a big step forward, and in many ways it is. But again, there's a reality check. Access doesn't guarantee participation. And participation doesn't guarantee meaningful savings, because if someone is already struggling to cover basic expenses, saving extra money each month simply isn't realistic. So while this policy may help future retirees, it doesn't do much for those who are already retired and facing challenges today, and that brings us back to the present moment. Because even with a modest cost of living increase this year, around 2.8%, many retirees are finding that their expenses are rising just as fast, if not faster. Healthcare costs continue to climb. Housing remains expensive. Everyday essentials still feel inflated. So even though benefit amounts have technically increased, the real purchasing power for many seniors hasn't improved much at all. Now, here's the part that often gets overlooked, but may be the most important piece of this entire conversation: the long term future of Social Security. Because behind all the headlines, delays, and policy changes, there is a fundamental issue that hasn't been solved. The system is under pressure. Experts have been warning for years that the Social Security Trust Fund is heading toward a critical point. And if no major changes are made, projections show that by the early 2030s, the system may no longer be able to pay full benefits. That doesn't mean Social Security will disappear, but it does mean something else. Automatic reductions. Estimates suggest that benefits could be reduced by somewhere between 20% and 25%. Think about that for a moment. If you're receiving $2,000 per month, that could drop to around $1,500. That's not a small adjustment. That's a major financial shift. And it raises an important question: what happens if nothing changes? Now, to be fair, there are multiple ways to address this issue. Lawmakers could increase payroll taxes, raise the retirement age, adjust benefit formulas, or implement a combination of these solutions. But here's the challenge: every option comes with trade-offs, and every solution is politically difficult. That's why progress has been slow. And that's why moments like this, when people start paying closer attention, are so important. Because awareness drives action. Now let's bring this back to you. What does all of this mean for retirees right now? First, if you're experiencing a delay this month, it's temporary. Payments will arrive based on the standard schedule, just shifted due to the calendar. Second, it's a reminder to plan ahead whenever possible. Even small buffers can make a big difference during longer payment cycles. Third, pay attention to policy changes, because decisions being made today will shape the future of Social Security for years to come. And finally, understand that while the system is facing challenges, it is still one of the most important financial programs in the country. Millions rely on it. And that's exactly why these conversations matter, because this isn't just about numbers, it's about people, it's about stability, and it's about the promise that after a lifetime of work, there will be something there to support you. So as we move through May 2026, keep your eyes open, stay informed, and don't ignore what may seem like small changes. Because sometimes small shifts are the early signs of much bigger transformations. And right now, Social Security may be entering one of those moments.